Okay, and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Andrea Lewandowski. I'm with the New Jersey State Library, and welcome to our NJLibsGrowBiz webinar about the Women's Center for Entrepreneurship Corporation. Did I get that right? Okay. And we're really glad to be joined by Steve and Nicole, who are going to give an introduction to the WCEC and then ways that libraries can partner or work together. So just as a reminder, if anyone is interested in these topics around entrepreneurship, working with business owners, you can get in touch with me and I can add you. We have a listserv for some announcements called NJLibsGrowBiz. And I can also keep you posted on when we have other events in the future. So I'll put my email address in the chat in case you don't have it. And I'll turn it over to Steve and Nicole. Thank you so much for joining us today.
All right. Hi, everyone. Let me go ahead and share my screen quickly. And I'll just ask that if you're not currently speaking, can you just make sure that you're muted? We want to reduce the background noise as much as possible. Okay, so a quick thumbs up around the room if you can see me, see my presentation and hear me. Okay, perfect. So first of all, thank you so much to Andrea and the team over at the New Jersey State Library. We love working with the libraries here in New Jersey. We think you guys are an amazing resource in our communities, but also for our small business owners. So thank you so much for the time here today. All right, so a quick introduction to the team here at the WCEC. We're a very small staff of just 6 people. And the chance is if you attend enough of our webinars or you hang around enough, you will meet every single one of us because we all teach on a variety of different topics and also provide one-on-one assistance as well. We're also all available to answer your questions. So even though Steve and I are the ones here today, you can reach out to any of us for your questions. You know, if you happen to get Kat on the phone or Ananda on the phone, no big deal. We're all here to help you. And I'll actually just go ahead and chat my email right now in the chat box for you as we get going. All right, so we are a nonprofit organization. It is our mission to empower women to invest in themselves through entrepreneurship by providing the necessary resources to successfully start, own, operate, and grow their businesses. We do that primarily through business counseling, which is one-on-one, and classes, which are webinars right now. So like I mentioned, we're a nonprofit organization. We're also an SBA resource partner. So you might be familiar with the Small Business Administration, you know, New Jersey Small Business Development Centers or SCORES or PTACs, Apex Accelerators. We're sort of the lesser known SBA resource partner. We're a part of a national network of over 150 independently operated women's business centers across the country. We're one of 2 in the state of New Jersey. And I think we're a little lesser known because we all have different names. You know, we're not all just women's business centers. So we are the Women's Center for Entrepreneurship, and we are a women's business center. And you can see here on this map of New Jersey, there are 14 counties highlighted in purple. That is our geographic area. So we're up here in the Morris and Essex County area. That's our office, but we do serve the northern 14 counties. There is a sister women's business center down in Camden. So if you are in one of these counties down here in the southern part of New Jersey, your women's business center is going to be in Camden. And they're hosted by an organization called LIDA. And there's a resource at the end to help you find that women's business center. All right, something that I think is really unique and I love to include whenever we talk about the WCEC is that every other year we have a national conference where women's business centers all across the country get together and we go to Washington, D.C. So it's a couple of days of us learning how to better serve the small business owners in our community, gain resources and educate ourselves, but it's also an entire day where we are booked solid with meetings on Capitol Hill. So we're going to Capitol Hill, we're meeting with our elected officials here in New Jersey, and we're advocating for more resources and additional funding for our women-owned small business community. This is the last time we were able to go. which was 2019. I'm excited we get to go back this year. Thank you, COVID. We finally get to go back. All right, so today we are going to talk about our 3 service areas. So we have classes, we have business counseling, and then we have events. It's also important to note, I know working with libraries, that some of our services are free, some of them are paid. So because of our grant funding that we receive, we offer as much as we can for free. And if we can't offer it for free, we try to do it as low cost as possible. And if there is a higher priced item, maybe like a $60 webinar series, it's important to note that we do have scholarships available for those. So I know as people working at libraries, it's really important that you have as many free resources as possible. So I just like to put that at the top of the hour so that you have that in mind. So that first service area, the first programming area, is our virtual classes. Right now, everything is taking place by Zoom, just like today. This is a quick peek at our upcoming class schedule. We have classes that are perhaps more helpful for those who haven't started yet or are just starting out. And then we have more advanced programming for existing business owners. We try to update this about 4 to 6 weeks in advance, typically. Now, you'll notice that this is a really light schedule. This is not typical. This is sort of us transitioning into the summer months where people are less inclined to sit behind a Zoom webinar. They want to be outside or, doing something other than sitting inside on a webinar. So usually it's about 5 to 7 classes a week that we're offering. So we're usually really, really busy. So just to know that this isn't really typically this light. And then I always encourage everyone as they sign up for classes to just really carefully read through the class description. Make sure that you know if a class is or is not going to be recorded. Some classes are a little bit less focused on presenting and instead more focused on discussion and brainstorming. And those are a little bit more of an open environment where we ask people to be vulnerable and open and honest. And so we won't record those. And when you get a copy of this presentation later, all of these are hyperlinked. So if there's a class you're really interested in, you can click on this to learn more information and just have that in your back pocket if you know of a small business owner that needs it, or if you're just curious, please join us. I'm trying to think if I'm forgetting anything, but I'll move on to our instructors. I always like to include this slide. This is a snapshot of just some of our instructors. We work with a very large network of instructors and business counselors. So this is just some of them. And the reason why I really like this is because what you're seeing here is that they are all either a small business owner, so they have the credibility to talk about what their class is on. And if they're not a small business owner, they're in a leadership position within a small business. So they have a lot of expertise that they can lend to the classroom. A lot of our programming is what we call a la carte. So it's a 1 hour class, 1 session, 1 hour, maybe 2 hours. But it's, you get this one topic wrapped up in a one-time session, and then, move on to the next one that you might find helpful. This is not typical to that schedule. And this is also very specifically for advanced business owners. So this is a 13-week series. You sign up for the full 13-week series. This is one of those classes where we do charge for it. It is $450, but we do offer scholarships to this program as well. So I always like to emphasize that. It's an educational format. We actually have a book that is printed and shipped to the participants. There's an application and interview process because there are only 15 seats available. So we want to make sure that everybody who is accepted into this program is going to take it seriously and that they're ready for the challenge that's ahead of them, the accelerator part of our programming. So this is for established business owners. And by that, we mean you're generating revenue and you're beyond the basics. So typically the people in this class know what things like a target market are. They've got the jargon of business plan, SWOT analysis kind of already behind them, and they're ready for more advanced accountability. Here we go. Sorry, I just lost my speaker notes, which has the slide, so I don't have to be looking over here at my screen. So participants are going to walk away with after 13 years, they've set their, or 13 weeks, they have set their goals, they've been held accountable, they've done their homework, and they've been checking in with each other throughout those 13 weeks. There's mentorship and business coaching available during and after the programming. And the point of this is that you have taken your business plan and you've transformed it into a strategy for growth. So you're revisiting that business plan, you're making a strategic plan on how to grow, identifying your best revenue streams, pivoting if you need to, right? That buzzword we've heard so much over the past 3 years. And you also walk away with a peer advisory group for your business. Our next cohort is going to start in spring 2024. Right now, we're just offering this once per year annually in the spring. We're not currently accepting applications, but if you had a business owner in your community that might be ready for something like this or is interested in learning more, you can always just refer them to us. We can talk to them a little bit more about the program and put them on a list so that they'll be notified when we do launch the applications for Growth Venture. All right, and that concludes the Nicole portion of today's session. I'll hand this over to Steve.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Steve Majorano. I'm the director of the WCEC Women's Business Center. And I've been here now for almost 9 years. And I swear, if I had a nickel for every time someone called in wanting to, talk about the business that they'd like to start, or maybe even having been in business, and I asked them if they had a business plan, and they said, well, I have the ideas in my head, but they're not written down, I could give a loan to somebody to fund their business. It's one of those things that I think people have a fear of. They think that a business plan is that 30-page spiral-bound thing that sits on the banker's desk in the office and collects dust. They only need it if they need funding. And one of the big things that we do with our business plan development series for those who are just starting out is dispel all of those myths and just kind of developed a program, a 4-week program, generally offered in the evenings for those who are working full-time, to just complete a draft, an outline of the business plan, 2 to 3 pages maximum, just going over the very basic concepts of products and services and who your target market is and who your competition is and your value proposition and differentiator and all that stuff. Just very, very basic. And in that particular workshop, we actually steer away from financials and financial forecasting because that can be a scarier topic for many. But what we find and what we encourage is no matter what, even if it's just a side hustle, a part-time gig, just having that business plan is something that is just incredibly important, just that brief roadmap. And I've actually, I consider it like a roadmap. Those who are old enough to remember when you would go on maps or something like that and actually print out directions before you had Waze and all the fancy apps telling you what to do. You wouldn't leave on a road trip without actually having that. I mean, you could, but I wouldn't. And I definitely encourage people not to. This is one of those programs as well that we do charge a nominal amount for. And the only reason we do that is because we do limit how many people are in it. We try to limit that to 15 to 20 because the instructor is actually reviewing every single business plan and providing feedback. And you have the ability to meet with the instructor one-on-one afterwards to go over your business plan. So we want a little commitment. We want to make sure that people are going to stick around. And then for those who want a little more, we have a 2-week advanced program to delve into the finances a little bit and more advanced topics on the business plan. This is kind of our flagship program. We offer this thrice, maybe 4 times a year, depending on the year. And it's something that, we like to do in a cohort format. The students, even on Zoom, really do form a bond. And that's a testament to the facilitator for that program. So one thing that we have coming up that we just want everyone to know about is in celebration of Small Business Week, starting, which is the first week of May. We are having our first annual State of Women Business Owners New Jersey report, which will once again be a virtual program. On May 4th from 9 to 12, we will have remarks from Governor Murphy, and then we will have breakout sessions on access to funding as well as digital marketing, and then live remarks from Senator Menendez. And information about this can be found on our website, WCECNJ.org, and we have promo codes. The promo code available, I believe, as we were talking, Nicole highlighted NJ State Lib for a complimentary ticket to this event. Earlier I talked about the business plan series. A lot of times, when that isn't going on, this is where business counseling comes in. First of all, some people just don't want to sit in a class. They want to work at their own pace. They want something that's really customized to their needs. Or maybe the class just isn't going on at that time. So we have one-on-one business coaching, once again, all virtual. Whenever we can help it, we pair you with somebody who is maybe has experience in your industry. We have a lot of foodies come our way, and we have business coaches who kind of specialize in that. We have a lot of health and wellness entrepreneurs, and we have business coaches who specialize in that. And we do charge for the business coaching. There is 1 hour of free coaching, and then there is a minimal cost for continued coaching. Once again, this might be to actually flesh out your business plan, maybe build a marketing strategy. We have a whole network of marketing strategists, those with expertise in social media, Instagram, marketing on YouTube and TikTok, and creating videos and reels and things like that. And then a different program to actually help find the grants and loans that are going on at this time, and help with the application process and provide feedback on the applications for those grants and loans to help with the funding. One of the mind-blowing things for me when I first started is I assumed that if you wanted to start a business, you needed 6 figures in your back pocket or from a loan to start a business. And the reality is, make or break for many entrepreneurs is like $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. So we talk a lot about microloans, those very small loans. You don't even go to banks for them. Banks won't even waste their time. And there's a whole network of microlenders that work specifically with solo business owners and those just starting out. And we have a lot of access and connections to those organizations. So as clients get successful, we love for them to share their story, and they are delighted to share their story with us. And if you want to see more about this, you can visit our website or in any social media platforms. Just search for hashtag WCEC My Story to see some of the entrepreneurs who have started out with us and who have grown with us and become successful, and what their secrets are and just what their businesses are. We love being able to connect different business owners. Sometimes we once had somebody who was looking to plan a conference for her business and connected with an event planner and event space to actually hold the event. And that connection was made through us. So we love stories like that, and you can see those on our social media and on our website. Hashtag WCEC My Story. We do get, some questions about this. People often ask about joining. There is no joining. Again, there is a fee for some of the programs. Many of them are free, and you can participate in as many or as few as you wish with no fees. Can men attend classes? So, we've got a guy working here, just a little point of interest. Out of about 150 women's business centers in the country, I think we are one of 2 remaining with a male women's business center director. So yes, men can work here as well as can attend the programs and do the business counseling, and we welcome all. Andrea had asked this question about being in the geographic area. Because of COVID and because of all of our virtual programming, we actually have people in our classes from all over the country sometimes. People just hear about a particular workshop that we're offering and will, choose to attend. regardless of where they're located. Likewise, because the programming is virtual, a lot of our business coaches and instructors are located out of state at this point. Because we have taken great pains over the last several years to find the best of the best subject matter experts. And some of them are in California, are in Virginia, we've got one in Illinois, they're all over. So people won't be meeting in person necessarily. Generally for business coaching, we do, again, serve the northern and central counties of New Jersey. Yes, there is a central New Jersey, for those who want to argue that point. But we are happy to refer those to LAEDA if it's something that we don't specialize in. We do have a great relationship with the LAEDA Women's Business Center down in Camden, and in particular because we don't have any staff that actually is fluent in Spanish, and they do. If that is a need for your audience, we actually, regardless of where in New Jersey you are located, will often refer people to LAEDA because their staff, they have staff members who are fluent in Spanish. And for those who are out of state, we do definitely encourage you to work within your state, especially when it comes to starting out, because there may be rules in Montana that we don't know about in New Jersey, or there may be loan opportunities at the state level in New York that we don't know about in New Jersey. So we always encourage you to find the most local resource partner that you can. And the sba.gov/local assistance is a great resource for finding your local Women's Business Center, SBDC, or SCORE chapter. Some additional resources for New Jersey: the SBA District Office, a small but mighty team. And their information is here. Again, the Women's Business Center located in Camden that serves Burlington, Ocean counties, and South. SCORE, which has a network of volunteer mentors and a very large network at that. And we love referring people to SCORE if they're looking for truly industry-specific information. Maybe, somebody who has worked in the fashion industry, for example, because they just want they have very specific questions. SCORE is a great resource for that. The small business development centers, in general, they're located at universities. There are 11 throughout the state, and they have a university resources behind them. So if somebody's needing a little more hand-holding, the SBDC is a great organization. For veterans, there's the Veterans Business Outreach Center. I believe the nearest one to us is in New York. They're not located in all 50 states, but that's another great resource. And for those who are interested in either government contracting or getting certified as a minority-owned or woman-owned business, there are 2 Apex accelerators. They used to be called Procurement Technical Assistance Centers, or PTACs. One at NJIT, located in Newark, and the other one at the WCEC, which serves, even though they're in Union County, they do serve everyone. And just some additional resources that whenever somebody comes to us, we like to make sure that they know about. In particular, the New Jersey Business Action Center for help with registering your business with the state of New Jersey, and the New Jersey Division of Revenue to make sure your business name is available and things like that, as well as the Department of Taxation for questions regarding business taxes and filings and things like that. Many times, somebody just starting out is interested in a franchise opportunity, and FriendNet is a great resource for that. And some at the more advanced level are looking at exporting, and export.gov is a great resource there. Just in terms of networking and other resources, the New Jersey Association of Women Business Owners is a statewide, basically the Women's Chamber of Commerce for the state of New Jersey. Of course, as working with the state libraries, I'm sure you're all familiar with the state agency, the NJEDA. Greater Newark Enterprises Corporation is one of those micro lenders that helps with those really small loans. And we're often referring people there. And Gearhart Law is, for those who are looking for patent assistance, is a local law firm that assists with that. And Brown Rudnick is a law firm that helps with the same thing. For nonprofits, if you have any nonprofits who are coming to you who don't know about probonopartner.org, this is one that is just tremendous. They basically help with everything that a nonprofit could need from a legal standpoint. Bylaws review, board review, contract review, basically anything short of litigation. And their services are completely free. We as a nonprofit use Pro Bono Partner on a regular basis. We actually list them as our primary legal counsel, and they are just fantastic. And other resources for becoming certified as a woman-owned or minority-owned business. Once again, big thing if it ever comes up. It's not something in general that is being accepted on day one when you start. It's, pretty much being in business for a little while, turning a profit, and then, 12, 18 months later, taking that next step and becoming certified, especially if you're looking to do government contracting or do business with maybe a large corporation that has set-asides for women-owned or minority-owned businesses. So everything that we've, said to you, we'd be happy to share with your members. And again, we can make those free, those virtual workshops, either especially for your program, if that's something that you would like, or simply promoting existing programming that we have, like our monthly Starting a Business in New Jersey program to your members. Or if there's something that maybe business owners are just really interested in and asking a lot about, and you don't see it on the calendar, it doesn't mean we can't do it, and it doesn't mean we can't find a subject matter expert who'd be willing to actually do that. So if you're interested in anything like that, info at WCECNJ.org goes to both Nicole and me, and we both respond, sometimes literally at the same time. We don't realize that the other one has responded, and within 5 seconds you've gotten a response. Or if you're just interested either for yourself, or if anyone is asking about educational programming or business coaching or anything like that, here are some links to our website to view the calendar or to request business counseling. And this is us. Again, I'm the director of the Women's Business Center. I'm Steve, and Nicole is our marketing and education director. And actually, I will even turn it back over to Nicole at this point, because there are just a couple of other slides on social media and staying in contact with us. And Nicole, as marketing director, is our social media champion.
I'm always out there pushing social media. If you talk to me enough, you'll get to know that. But while I'm on this slide, I would say, we've worked with a lot of local libraries. An example is the Vauxhall Branch Library. We've worked with them for years, sometimes customizing programming because they have members of their library who have very specific questions, and so they want a class on a specific topic. Something that we do a lot with our local libraries is called Starting a Business in New Jersey. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's the basics. I want to start a business. I want a checklist. What do I do? I'm super lost. It's a 1-hour webinar of everything to consider: business planning, marketing planning, financial forecasting, funding. We review it all. So that's an example of a class that we regularly do with local libraries, and we would be happy to bring to yours if you're just looking for a place to start. But this is how you can contact us. Our website, phone number, the info @ email address. I know it's generic, but like Steve said, we really do respond. You're looking at the 2 people who do it. I would encourage you, or maybe if you can get the social media team at your library, to have the libraries follow us on social media so that you're able to see upcoming programming that might be helpful to your members in your community. We're at WCECNJ across the board on all 4 platforms. We also have a closed Facebook group. This is for clients only. So if somebody does go through our programming, they can always join our closed Facebook group and have a safe space where there's no third-party promotions going on, to just really collaborate with other small business owners as well. I'm seeing a question. Do you keep a list of participants in webinars and events? If so, oh yes. So this is a question we get a lot. Let's say we partner with your library, whatever branch or library, let's say Laura is at, and we do Starting a Business. we do starting a business in New Jersey. We present that webinar to your members. Then what we can do is we can share a list of everybody who registered and attended. So you can see there were 30 people registered and maybe these 18 people came. I can share their first name and last name with you, but not contact information. So you can at least have the names for reporting purposes of saying, we conducted this class and this is how many people we helped to train.
Great. And we have another question. If a library is hosting an event, are you able to promote that as well? So I'm guessing that this would be for an event that is not in partnership. Maybe this is another thing of interest to business owners or people who want to start a business that might be hosted in a library. Is that something you could share on social media, or if it's applicable?
So typically we don't share third-party events unless we have a role in that event. If we're a speaker or if we're an official sponsor or media sponsor, we can share that event. We try to not blast our participants with third-party promotions, but that doesn't mean you can't try. So if you have a question and you think, let's give it a go, email me. And I'll let you know if that's something that we can share for you, if it's up in the air. And sometimes too, I know a library might want to maybe own an event, so typically we own the event. Starting a business in New Jersey, I'm going to use as an example again. Your members would register on our website. We would say this class is in partnership with this library. We would link to your website. We would have your logo on our slides. But really, we would host that registration and we would host that Zoom meeting. So I know that sometimes, partnering organizations say, well, we want to host something and we want you to be our guest speaker. And that's okay too. So if that's something where you want to do, well, you host an event and we speak at that event, whether it's a class or in person even, or we host it, there's room. We're very flexible and we try very hard to be good collaborators in the community. So I would say that too. Of course, we would like to host the event to report to our grantors that we're out in the community and we're doing good work, but we'd like to remain flexible.
And there was another question about whether you partner with chambers of commerce on events as well.
We do. We partner with, for example, a recent one that we did during Black History Month. We hosted a webinar called Grants and Loans, and that was in partnership with the African American Chamber of Commerce of New Jersey. They have a very long name, but we had their COO on as a partner, as a guest speaker to talk about the resources offered at their chamber. So that's just the most recent example. But if you have connections, if you feel like that there's a chamber out there that needs a resource, feel free to be a connector between our organization and theirs.
Yeah, I think that those kinds of partnerships, if you can bring multiple people together, then that just expands the potential audience. And I have to say, I think that, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like in the business ecosystem, there is enough for everyone to help in different ways. So, it's not as though you're in direct competition with a chamber where, you don't want to get in front of them or they wouldn't want you to get in front of their members. So I think that everyone coming together, it's really to promote businesses and entrepreneurs. So more visibility, more partners is always good.
That's great that you say that, because when I do business coaching myself, which I do on occasion, and even when I'm talking to clients after their business coaching session with somebody else, I always tell them, when you're starting a business in particular, or even if you're in business, you really can't have too many mentors. Each one will bring something different to the table, a new perspective, new area of expertise, and you kind of will come through that and take the best of the best to really build out your business the way you want it.
Yeah.
Great.
So just curious, and I am not a a host of this meeting, so I'm not able to create a poll. So I'm just going to ask, I guess, now that COVID has pretty much passed, I just want to know from a programming standpoint, who is looking to strictly only do in-person programming at this time, who is still only doing virtual, and who's doing a mix of virtual and in-person programming within your libraries at this time. If you just want to maybe throw it in the chat and just see where we're at when it comes to how you're providing programming. Okay, got one mix, got one in-person, got one. So for us, it's a little different. What we find works for us is virtual, because again, we're serving 14 counties, and people in Trenton love to know that they don't have to drive to Paramus for a 1-hour class. They love to know that they can just click a link and stay in their jammies and, watch that, participate in that program. But we in the past, everything was in person, and we're finding that here in New Jersey, people, at least again, because we're serving such a large geography, people are appreciating virtual programming. Obviously, at the libraries are more community focused, so it makes sense that in person, it's not a trek from Trenton to Paramus to get to your library. Maybe if you were the Edison Public Library, I grew up in Edison. If you're the Edison Public Library, getting from North Edison to the Edison Public Library might feel just as long, and you might want virtual, but depending on the size of your community, in person might not be such a burden. So again, we can, customize that. We have instructors and business coaches who can come out in person to do things.
That's good to hear. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll gravitate towards webinar, but your community better than we know your community. So that goes along with that, the attempt to be as flexible as possible with partnering.
Were there any questions from the group? Anything you want to throw into chat, or unmute yourselves and ask? Open to any questions or suggestions. If you've worked with WCEC before, or other partners that you want to share some ideas.
So I also threw into the chat just the URL for LAEDA, because I did hear that many were down in Gloucester, down in Deptford. So I just wanted to, that would be your more local resource. And especially for doing something in person, they'd be the ones who could. Jamelia over there, my counterpart, is also a great collaborator, and very open to working with people. So when if you want to reach out to them, I just put her name in the chat. It's spelled Jamila, it's pronounced Jamelia. Most popular programs. So lately, I would say when it's not the business plan series for the startups, we do just a great deal on digital marketing, e-commerce topics and things like that. Those are very popular, and those are actually, they're almost too popular. People often want to take those classes and even do business counseling on those topics before they're in business, before they have a business plan. I call it kind of, putting the siding and the trim on the house before you've even put up the framing. It's just, you need the business plan first, but people don't want to hear that. They want to jump right to marketing. It's sexy, it's interesting, it's fun. So those do tend to be the most popular, well-attended programs, as people, either are in business, or again, even not in business. Maybe they're not in business yet. Maybe they haven't registered the business, but they've secured all of the social media platforms. They've got them all. So they're on the right path, but now it's like, all right, register the business, open the business bank account, get your EIN number. The marketing is great, but you need the foundation first. So marketing is definitely huge. And we get accolades. Actually, the SBA just gave us a shout out, that many organizations aren't doing things like Instagram and TikTok and, marketing your business in those ways. And those are actually ways that business owners are looking to market, to do reels and to, get the word out that way. So we do, offer that kind of programming that ends up being very popular with entrepreneurs of all ages. I think especially the older entrepreneurs who don't know it.
I would also add our startup programming is incredibly popular. So the starting a business in New Jersey, I keep saying it, it's just like a really good example. It's something that we have to host it every single month because it's constantly in demand, because people really do reach out and you don't know what you don't know, right? And nobody can be blamed for that. So I want to start a business, but everyone wants a checklist. You have to do these 5 things. And so we're constantly answering that question. And so we're able to funnel people into the starting a business in New Jersey webinar. So I would say digital marketing, starting a business in New Jersey, and then anything funding related, anything where we might talk about grants and loans, also very popular.
Any other questions? Anything else anyone wants to share?
There's a lot of information. Usually, so I present basically this exact presentation monthly to new people coming to us. And sometimes it's just crickets afterwards because it's so much information. So if you need to absorb it and get back, you can always do that. I've always been told there. Yeah, okay. So there's a question about, can you say more about grants and loans? I've always been told there are grants for starting a business. We try to use the word grant very lightly because grants are harder to find and they're usually incredibly competitive and time-based. So usually there's a grant cycle. So maybe once a year, an organization might take your grant applications. Maybe it's once a quarter, once every 6 months. Sometimes they're local, regional, or national. That makes it even more highly competitive. But there are grants out there for small business owners. And we talk a lot about those in our monthly grants and loans webinar. We started at the top of the hour with the loans, just as I think somewhat of a reality check of this is perhaps most likely the way that you will be funding your business is a loan over a grant. But then the second half of that webinar is any grant that we have on our webinar, on our radar, and we review eligibility criteria, deadlines for applications, what the follow-up process might look like, and we offer resources as well. So for example, with grant applications, a lot of times there might be a video pitch involved, a presentation involved. You have to write a heartwarming story about your business. And a lot of that is just, it's overwhelming on top of doing things like writing your business plan and financial forecasting. So that's something that we help, one-on-one review all of that and, help you to really gain the skills to sharpen your critical thinking, gain the skills to be able to do these things on your own. And we just sort of guide you through best practices.
So Nancy, just for your question, you've been told that there are no grants for starting a business. There are very minimal grants for starting a business, and even startup loans. There are some that are a minimal amount that are true day zero startup, but when it comes to a lot of loans from banks, even SBA backed loans, which are still through banks, when they say startup, but they mean you have to have been in business for 18 to 24 months in a lot of cases. And it's infuriating that they still refer to that as startup, but that is, kind of how they do it.
I just thought I'd pull up our website really quick since we're here and we're on the topic. If you visit our website, I chatted the link earlier, there's a tab up here called Funding Resources. This is managed by one person on our team who does a heck of a job keeping it as up to date as she possibly can. So you'll see on the left-hand side are grants and the right-hand side are loans. So what we try to do is include the title of the grant or the loan, as well as a deadline if applicable. So this is something that if somebody does come to you and ask for a grant or a loan that might be available, this list is kept as up to date as possible. And these are, this is so long right now. Sometimes this is a really short list because, you know, to Nancy's point, we hear a lot, there's no grants available. This is one of those right now might just be a popular time for funding. And we're lucky to have a list this long. But if you do get those questions and you just want a quick link to be able to provide to somebody, this is a good resource for them. You know, it doesn't cost anything. They can click through it, use it as they want to, reach out to us if they want that assistance when applying. And if not, you know, it's just a free resource for them.
Now, this question has come up before about scheduling things or kind of just the lay of the land of what you're seeing. And I'm wondering, have you found a sweet spot of timings to hold sessions that people tend to be more available or less available? Or do you see a change in who signs up for things based on when you hold them, like if they're during business hours or before or after business hours? Like, do you have any suggestions or just things that you've seen from hosting things?
Yeah, well, evening webinars are wildly popular. You know, everybody tends to be, I mean, now I shouldn't say everybody because a lot of people have demanding jobs. I mean, I have nurses in the family, so definitely evenings. I could never say, you know, that they're available in the evenings, but I would say the majority of people that we speak to, an evening session is most convenient because everybody in the household, whoever that may be, tends to be sort of concluded with their work or school or whatever for the day. So we do evening webinars from 6 to 8 p.m., generally speaking. That being said, we do webinars all around the clock, just to try to meet people where they are. For us, we're noticing if you're starting a business, or even if you've already started your business, you might have a full-time or part-time job too. So you're trying to juggle starting a business while still working for someone else. So you might have, depending on what type of job you have, a morning free and afternoon free. So we try to do 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, which might coincide with a lunch hour. But you know, we do all around the clock. I know for a while in 2020 and even into 2021, there was a lot of issues with schooling, whether it was last minute, you have to keep your kids home today, the school is closed because of COVID, or not enough bus drivers. So you have to go pick your kids up from school. So there was a weird time around 3 p.m. There's just all of a sudden didn't work. We stopped doing 3 p.m. because it was too close to school getting let out and whatever that meant for you and your family. And, you know, working with women, a lot of times they're the caregivers of children. So, we try very hard to just sort of keep on the pulse of what's happening and what the community needs. But I think we do a lot of classes around 12 to 1, 6 to 8 p.m., sometimes a morning class. Depends on the industry too, right? So if we have a food class, like we have a class starting a food business in New Jersey, so that one we try to run early in the morning so that they can go on with their day serving within their restaurant or whatever it might be. So it kind of depends on the topic too. What about you, Steve?
No, agreed. I know recently we did one webinar that I think started at 7:30 a.m., either 7:30 or 8, and that ended up being very popular as well. So we may look to do a few more of those in the early morning pre-work kind of situation. And when it comes to the business coaching as well, once you're connected with the business coach, the time of the meeting can be whenever you set it for. Many of the coaches will take evening appointments. Many are located 3 hours behind. So to them, an afternoon appointment is an evening appointment. And they're okay with that. So there is flexibility, a lot more flexibility in the one-on-one coaching as well. So if a time doesn't work for somebody, if they're working full-time and absolutely really can't do a certain class, they don't even maybe get home from the city until 6:30, 7 o'clock, they can do their business counseling in the evening.
Thank you so much. It's very helpful. Okay, we're down to our last few minutes. So it's speak now or send an email. So thank you very much again for making the time and speaking to us today. This session has been recorded, so I'll be sharing that with you guys and with everyone who registered and was not able to attend live. I will also email the slides so that you have all of the links. And I believe all of the links that were shared in the chat are also in the slides. So I'll take a second look at the chat and just make sure there wasn't anything that was missed. But yes, thank you again. And I hope that we can keep in touch. And if there's anything that libraries can do to assist you as well, we have great information and great resources. So we are happy to support you as well.
Thank you very much. It was great meeting you a couple months ago. I'm glad we got to do this. And yeah, thank you for having us. And thank you everyone for taking the time today.
Excellent. Yes, very, very fortuitous to meet. So, all right, everyone, have a wonderful rest of your day. And I will be communicating with everybody through email. So I'll see you soon.
Take care.
Bye.